So on social media, we heard that there was Christian nightclub, and then we heard, both sides, everybody on social media talking about whether it's, the pros and cons pretty much about having a Christian nightclub. Now, I myself believe in that also. I believe that, even us, we went to see Rob one time in Philly.
Event, yeah.
And it was at night, and it seemed like it had that nightclub feel and all that. Now, me personally, I never was a nightclub kind of dude. That wasn't my way. So for me, I ain't really feel no type of way. But now, if somebody come from that lifestyle, if that was your old lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? You gonna tell me that you going into that atmosphere isn't gonna kind of give you that same vibe when you was in the world? And maybe it's like bringing a crackhead to a crack house. You ain't smoking crack now, but you put that in front of you, and it might be the same thing.
Might be tempting.
Right. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's how I feel about that Christian nightclub stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's cool, Christians having a place to go and all that, but that ain't good for everybody.
Yeah.
And and this point, deception or discernment, right? Or discernment and deception.
Yeah.
Like, which one we gonna have at this point? Because you should know yourself too.
Right. So really quick, before anybody moves on, we're just gonna play a quick clip for you guys, just so you guys can get a better understanding of where this came from and all this stuff, and then we'll dig deeper into it. We'll be right back.
God told my wife and I to start a Christian nightclub in the heart of Los Angeles. This is going to be a fun space for Christians to enjoy, to vibe, to listen to Christian music, to fellowship, just to dance. And there will be a DJ, there will be performers, there will be food, there will be worship, there will be prayer. We're also going to do healing and deliverance sessions inside the club.
Christians are extremely mad at us for starting a Christian nightclub. I really don't get it.
Me neither.
Why are y'all so triggered by Christians gathering in a building and enjoying Christian music and socializing? What do you think we'll be doing in heaven? We will be dancing, worshiping, and socializing. Believers with discernment will see that our goal is to praise Jesus, save souls, heal the brokenhearted, and create a healthy community for believers in LA. If y'all can't understand that, then we'll be praying for you.
Yes, we will.
Discernment or deception? All right, guys. So that was the clip. So Jay, what were you saying? As far as how did it open up in the nightclub?
Right. So the first scene, right? You see, there's break dancers battle dancing, right? And I think we've all seen a lot of breakdancing movies,
right?
Actual breakdancing in the different clubs or whatever. Like when you're battle dancing against another person, the kinds of things that you're doing with your body,
right?
Again, it's like taking the violence out of violence, right? But you're still enacting movements that demonstrate violence towards your fellow man.
Right.
So again, some people can look at it and have fun.
Right.
You and I, we can have playful banter where we're making fun of each other, but then how far does that go before one of us crosses a line and gets upset and emotionally hurt by what's being put out there?
Because a lot of people, I'm gonna pass it to you too, Joe, because I know you made a good point about this, but a lot of people are gonna say, all right, so what's so bad about it? So let's give some pros and cons. That right there was a con, what you just said. True indeed, because if that was a specific scene from that particular event, we could understand that where that could lead to.
Right, where's the glory for God in it?
Right. Now, people are going to, like the young woman said, people are hating basically, but this is where they could worship, they could sing, they could fellowship with each other.
Absolutely.
And those are all good things. Those are all things that believers should do.
That churches do at night.
Churches doing that, right. So, June, how do you feel about this situation? Give us some pros and cons.
Honestly, again, I gave you pros and cons when we started this, how I felt about it. But looking at it, honestly, I didn't see no worship of God. When it comes to certain things, I think people are too loose. And they need a little more reverence for the things of God, bro. That's why God calls us to be separate. I'll tell you right now, if you would have put that joint on, well, I couldn't really hear the music anyway, but just by looking at it, that don't look godly to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make an ultimate judgment on what they're doing.
Right.
Maybe their heart's in the right place, But like I said, to go into that and act like there could be no problems, I think you lack discernment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's certain things that we need to stay away from. And again, like God said, He calls us to be holy, right?
Yeah.
So nightclubs, that stuff is for the world, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That whole setting.
Yeah, that whole setting is for the world, bro. Like there ain't nothing good that's happening, you know. I mean, obviously you could be worshiping, studying, praising,
Doing all these
things. But like, let's not act like there's no room for the other stuff, bro.
Right.
You know, like there's no room for you to get a little loose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like, we just watched a few second clip. We don't really know what's going on the whole
Right,
night.
right.
Could they be opening up like a church?
Right.
Right? Where someone comes, leads everybody in prayer, right? The worship goes on, everybody gets in awe of God and worships, right? They start singing and praising God. And then they're like, all right, guys, we're, now that we are at the end of that particular service, we're going to have some recreational time.
Right.
And again, it's like, you've been to rec centers, right? We used to have one out here. That's where all the kids went to hang out, play basketball, do recreational things. And for young Christians, even older Christians, to have recreation, it's like, all right, are we worshiping, praying, and studying every minute of our lives?
Right.
No,
No,
absolutely not.
Right.
So we do need recreation and a place that's safe to have fun.
Right.
But like the bro said, like, how easily can those lines be blurred?
Yeah.
All it takes is for someone to not be watching people who are susceptible to struggle.
Right.
And those people could just wander off.
Right.
A boy meets a girl that he likes at the spot. Them two can just dip off into the closet, into the back room. Right. Somebody's like, yo, you got the blunt? Yeah, let's go in the back and burn it up and come back in and chill with everybody.
Right.
And it's like, is everyone being protected by that environment?
And that's the thing right there, because like June said, their hearts may be in the right places, but not to judge a book by its cover or anything, but they were young. They were, maybe early 20s, maybe younger. They were young kids, basically, young adults. Now, praise God that they're even following the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give their flowers before I even go into anything negative. Not so much negative, but a pro and a con. You got young kids looking for the Lord, maybe hungry on fire for the Lord. They know where this generation is at, and maybe they feel in their heart that they can lead a generation like that in this area, which could be a good thing.
Right.
So we can't write it off. Now, my cons are them being young. I think if you're gonna go out and try to do something like that, there should be someone, an elder of some sort, watching over these younger people. We're not saying just because you're young, you're not mature in the faith.
Right.
I don't mean it in that aspect. I don't know who these people are, what their lives are about. But from just what I'm looking at, and when they showed the little clip, was younger kids. So it looks like it's a younger people kind of thing. If you're gonna go out and do something like that, number one, like I said before, make sure God is sending you first.
Right.
Don't just do it because my wife told me what he said.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, they came out and said the Lord told us to start a nightclub. So.
I know what they said.
Yeah.
But maybe they did. I'm not saying, but not every time somebody, even now, there's a bunch of pastors and preachers out there who the Lord never called you to do that.
Yeah, right. God said, right.
Right. So, but whatever. I'm not judging that. But I'm just saying, like, those are things you want to kind of make sure that you have somebody above to actually school you, somebody more mature in the faith, letting them know the pros and the cons of this nightclub thing, or where it can go wrong or where it can go good, Yeah. So overall, you just got to be careful with those type of things.
Right.
To me, like to go back, this goes real close to the compromising Christian thing, right? Because I can see how these big mega churches were starting to act clubbish.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So who's to say that these kids are like, look at that, that's a club. It looks like a club.
Yeah.
Right.
And just now you created a nightclub.
Right.
Because people were having club during the day.
Bro, plenty of Christian hip hop or Christian music like that they could use, but they're using worldly music in those services you're talking about.
Right.
Yes.
In the church.
Like
that dude Philip Murray on New Year's had his big church service, bro. This thing went viral. I think it's a church in Atlanta. Had a DJ in there playing straight worldly music, swag surfing,
crazy.
Playing Walk It Out. Yo, it was crazy, and the whole crowd is in there just
going.
Exactly.
Crazy. And it's crazy because I saw a video on TikTok of a girl, younger girl, was like,
I did the club to go church and this was church.
and then he has the nerve to come and do videos afterwards talking about how many people did you lead to Christ that night.
I just got off the, hey, y'all do me a favor. If people are on here saying stupid stuff, and yes, I say it's stupid because it's stupid. 150 people got saved. What? How many people got saved at your church Sunday night? Let's start there. This shuts the conversation down, y'all. Don't argue with nobody. Just ask them. How many people got saved at your church Sunday?
You ain't saving no souls, well, just because people came to the altar.
Right.
I mean, if I'm in the world, that's the church I want to go to.
Right.
Are you really leading people to Christ?
Yep.
Right.
Like, that's a compromising church. And like you were saying, this is the stuff that's dangerous because those young kids trying to start that nightclub probably looked up to that elder and was like, they're doing it.
Exactly.
We can do it.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I mean, look at from the scriptural perspective, right? Like in the Exodus time,
Right.
where the people were in the wilderness and they made a calf, right? That they called a god,
Right.
like their god, the god that brought them out of Egypt, right?
Yep.
And they rose up to play.
Yeah.
And to sing and to dance and to be merry and make love and do whatever.
They were playing around.
Right? They rose up to play thinking that they were still good.
Yeah.
Oh, and tomorrow we'll have a feast to the Lord.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, just looking at it from that perspective is like, it's nothing new that this is going on.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, just to be careful for yourself, not to be caught out of pocket.
Right.
And so have
Sure.
discernment with that.
Absolutely.
Yes, those kinds of things, though you might see them in the church, are not okay.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And
Discernment or deception.
absolutely.
Deception.
So
Have discernment
yeah.
to that deception.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing, man.
Be very wise with that decision because it could go wrong, and praise God that it can go right. But you want to make sure you have the right people around.
At the end of the day, we just want to encourage everybody to have a relationship with the Lord, and then you will have deception.
And
Get
you know
into your
what?
word.
My thing is like, we're supposed to be separate from the world, right? So don't call it a nightclub.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't call it a nightclub.
Right.
Call it night church.
Right. Give it some other kind
Don't
of thing.
call it a club.
Don't call it what they call it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's supposed to be church, right?
Right.
The
Exactly.
fellowship.
Exactly.
That's church,
Yep.
bro.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Call it something else.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Last Supper, right? Wasn't it at nighttime? They got the brothers in the upper room.
Yeah.
And they were chilling around the table doing whatever. Like, call it the upper room.
Something,
Give
you know what I'm saying?
Add some
Switch it
swag
up.
to it.
Right.
Some holy Christian
Right.
swag to it.
That's the thing. Discernment or deception, man. In those situations, man, we tend to want to take the things of the world and make it ours. Sometimes it's just not. Let's leave it there. Let's do something different, something separate, something holy.
Right.
You feel me?
You know what I think? A lot of churches and people they fall when they try to oh, you know what? Let's do something that people are gonna be comfortable with, something that they can relate to.
Right.
And you know what? Yo, listen, man. You was in the world. On this side, Christ, you can't relate to nothing. You can't bring nothing from that world into this realm, bro.
Right. Yep.
The Lord is holy, man.
Yep.
He calls us to be that.
Yeah.
So when they do that, that's a big mistake, I think, for all these churches, bro.
Right.
Stop compromising again.
Yep.
Compromising what the word tells you, the values of what God is trying to tell you it should be, for what the world believes it should be, bro.
It's like when God told Moses to take the sandals off his feet. Because the way you used to walk over there,
You walking like that over
walk
here,
in
Papa.
here.
Yeah.
Shake the dust from your feet. You know what I mean? And again, it's like when God told them, hey, listen, gather the elders, gather the people, tell them they're gonna come to see the Lord at the foot of the mountain. What did Moses go and do? Yo, put away your gods.